down what happened in Arizona. How it's not a big deal. It's actually a great victory for the people. It's going to start a lot of issues that the court may not have realized they were going to start, which it's amazing when they do that, because there's so much maladministration and different things happening in America today, and we are going to have to fix it. So I want you guys to like and share this with everyone. I'm putting a note in here for everybody to do it. I'm going to share it in my groups. Yes, I am up early. It is 5:40 in the morning. And the reason that I am up so early is I got friends who will still be around today, and it's been getting super loud in my videos, and I don't want to disrupt you guys and stop you guys from being able to hear well. So I'm going to leave off of this YouTube. Everybody please like and share this. I can see that it's live, so now I'm going to go to my other device just so I can make sure I don't miss any comments. And I want to welcome you all on. Big Ivan, what's up? What's up, Donald? What's up, Doc Sexy? What's up, Julie? What's up, Cheryl? Guys, we are going to blow the backs out of some stuff today. And it's going to be amazing. It's going to be a great thing. A lot of people fail to see the power of the people. As you guys can see, we had another big victory yesterday. We actually got the audit in Michigan. By God, we got the best in the nation, if not the world, for this type of work, Jovan Hutton Pulitzer. God has been extremely good to us. He has opened doors for us. He has given us mercy. He has shown us truth. He has shown us the power of the people. Everybody, please give this a like. Let me share this in the groups too, in the Telegram groups. And we're going to get down today, y'all. We're going to find that when the enemy tries to destroy the work that we do, when the enemy tries to suppress the law, when the enemy tries to break down those things which would protect the people, the enemies always leave themselves exposed and they're wrong. And we've been in a situation now where for a long time, attorneys and judges have done whatever they can do to get rid of the protections of the people in order to protect their friends. Many times their friends have been working together in bad things. So, you'll see that many officers of the state will try to act like they're trying to protect the people. But then what you'll notice is that whenever it comes to a time that they are supposed to protect the people and give the people the greatest protections, you'll see that they don't want to do it. You'll see that they will drop the ball. You will see that they'll do certain types of dirty things that hurt the people. And when you try to get them to prosecute their friends, they really don't want to do it. And the world is like, what's really going on? You can see where we push for the grand juries and we keep talking about it. And it's amazing because we are getting a lot of benefit from standing up to them and letting them know that we want the grand juries. I don't think they're very happy about that. And I think they understand what we're saying. I think they realize that we, the people, are saying that we don't like what you guys have been doing. We're coming after you. You can see with the school boards that they're very uncomfortable when the people started going after them and the federal Congress jumped in. And now we have the state Supreme Court of Arizona who have made some judgments. And I'm going to tell you that some of the arguments of the Supreme Court are very, very, very valid. And it proves that many of the state workers are accepting money from us. They swear to do things faithfully, and then they fail to do things faithfully. So they tell us that they're going to carry out their duties faithfully by oath. And then we run into a situation where they don't carry out those duties, but yet and still they continue to get paid for working when they're not protecting our rights and our property, which is the paramount reason that the government of Arizona was even put together in the first place. So without further ado, I'm going to get into the deep stuff. I'm going to pray real quick. Everybody share. We're going to blow the back out of the deep state. We're going to show the truth and the wrong of many people in Arizona who work for government, including legislative body members, the Supreme Court, and the executive branch. What they have done in doing what they did, in saying that the legislature did not follow the letter of the law. Oh boy. When the Bible tells you, right, to not to try to remove the mote out of your brother's eye like a splinter-sized piece of wood, when you have a whole beam in your eye, clear your eye out first so you can see clearly to remove the mote out of your brother's eye. See, what's happening is the Supreme Court of Arizona found an instance where they can jump on the legislature so quick and easy because the legislature has been breaking the law, which is deep because the legislature did the only audit that was done of this type in America. So the people are really more happy with the legislature than they are the Supreme Court because the Supreme Court ignores every case. That's important for the people. They have walked away from allegiance to the people, and they are helping private entities. So what we're going to do is we are going to break down exactly what happened. Thank you, Breesy. In this news report from Associated Press, I believe it is, AP News, because people see it, and the first thing that people do is get a negative mind and say, oh my God, look, it's all lost. The Supreme Court shut down the anti-vaccine, anti-mask mandate bill. Is that really what happened? That in no way is what happened. It's not about them knocking down the so-called law or statutory bylaw that the legislature made. It had nothing to do with that. It had nothing to do with the legislature, with the Supreme Court saying that it was unconstitutional what the legislature wrote. The truth is the method, and this is amazing for everything we're doing now, guys, because it's funny that there were different documents put into the Supreme Court talking about the methods the state used with the election. So the funny thing is when the Supreme Court jumps in to try to destroy what the legislature did on behalf of their friends, they automatically put the same judgment on themselves. And now we're about to blow their back out. So we're going to pray real quick. Let's get ready. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for all you do. We thank you for your love and mercy. We thank you for the time to do this video. We thank you for being good to us. We thank you for all those who are able to watch and share. Father, we ask that you let us see truth, Father. Let us knock this thing down, Father, this evil, this wickedness, Father, all of this maladministration. Wake up the people, Father, stir them up to fix it because wrong has been done. And it's about time, Father, that we set things in order and correct things by the power that you have given us, Father, and the jurisdiction and dominion that you have given us. We thank you so much for all you do, Father. We thank you for the victory yesterday in Michigan. We thank you for the audit that's going to be done. We thank you for Jovan, who has done great things for the people of America. We thank you for Matt DePerno and Big Bill Bailey, the Hemi Slayer. We thank you so much, God, for all that you have done, Father. We thank you for all those people who have fought along with those people and who have stood and showed strength. And Father, we just ask that you continue to be with us and keep us. Let us see clarity. Let us see the beautiful things that have happened. And let us stand to take action and jump in the middle and have victory again. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. All right, y'all. So we're going to go ahead and open up them PCAPs, right? We're going to see what the news reporter said about the Supreme Court. Thank you, Jose. It's all God. So we're going to look up real quick. I just signed sheriff's notice, literally plan to sign SB JG. Oh, non-residents. My team is working. Pray for us. I'm praying over all notices. And servants, God bless you. Thank you. We're praying that you have victory as well. Okay, now watch this, y'all. This is gonna get beautiful. Let's see. Okay, guys. So what we're gonna do? We're going to go to this AP News article. And it says, Arizona High Court upholds ruling blocking school mask bans. Now, guys, we are not, excuse me, we are not forced to have school masks. Nobody can do that. But what we're going to see, guys, is there been a big bunch of maladministration where people who have taken money from us have not followed the rules. Now, I've been coming and telling y'all that when people do not follow the highest law of the state outside of the United States Constitution, the state constitution, that it is void, right? And they cannot do it. And people have ran to the courts and begged the courts to hear us, and they don't want to hear us. But the truth is that they have relationships that are unlawful themselves that go against the state constitution. Now, this here is going to deal with the Constitution and the state statute. And really, guys, what it's about is maladministration. See, anytime anybody does any act in maladministration, is automatically void. Y'all want to know how to take back America? Y'all want to know why the people should come in and take all of the different states that have changed election law without the legislature following the Constitution word for word? Because it is void. Why? Because of maladministration. If you don't do the deeds based on the Constitution, your charter, or some governing document that tells you how you are to act, it is void. The Supreme Court just made a mistake and told on the program and process that they have been using to bypass law using maladministration, and how it's always void. So when they take your house, your car, your kids, your grandma, your election, your dog, every time it was done by a statute or something that did not follow the Constitution, it is null and void, and the state Supreme Court is going to prove to you in their own words that the Constitution is mandatory. And every time these clowns come changing stuff, doing what they want to do, they are not only void, but the people who do it are liable. See, they're just trying to play a game because they get money from the Fed. And we know that we got a Supreme Court, and we know that we got courts in Arizona that want to side with people other than the ones they swore to uphold the rights of. See, they want to ignore the Constitution when it comes to how they deal with traffic cases and not giving juries. When it comes to taking kids from parents, they want to ignore the Constitution. When it comes to taking child support funds and splitting up money and doing all these different things, they want to ignore the Constitution. But when it comes to these school bans where these people are getting money from federal connected partners, they want to now tell on the legislature and how the legislature ain't following the exact word by word law of the Constitution when they write their bills. Now, don't believe me. I'm going to show you the PCAPs to blow the back out of everything that's been happening against the people. We're going to start reading. It says Phoenix AP, the Arizona Supreme Court on Tuesday unanimously upheld a lower court judgment that found the Republican-controlled legislature. Now notice, guys, they talk about the Republican-controlled legislature because every time that these people get to talk about the Republicans, they do it to give a negative connotation to Republicans. So the news media is working just like the lower court and the Supreme Court is working. And the Supreme Court is not wrong in what they say about the legislature. They're 100% right. But the problem is that they're all doing it. And this is an amazing thing by God, because when they show what's wrong, it's going to give you guys courage and strength. And then we're going to put all of them on notice and go after all of them for the very same thing. Let's look. The Arizona Supreme Court on Tuesday unanimously upheld a lower court judgment that found the Republican-controlled legislature, what did they do, y'all? Violated the state constitution by including new laws banning school mask mandates and a series of other measures in unrelated budget bills. So what are they saying, guys? What happened is the Supreme Court of Arizona said, hey, in the Constitution, the people declared that you can only make one bill with one topic and explain what's in there so it don't get out of control. So we, the people, said they can only make one bill with one topic. Well, we, the people, also made in the Constitution the right for every man or woman, one of the people, to have a trial by jury in a court of record. And they're not doing that. And before they could take life, liberty, or property, or tell you what to do with your kids' health, there has to be a ruling in a court of record with a trial by jury that you broke the law and you're going to prison or you're out of your kid's life. But they're ignoring that. Let's keep reading. The swift ruling from the state's high court came less than 2 hours after the 7 justices heard arguments in the state's appeal of a trial court judge's ruling. The justices had hammered Solicitor General Bo Rodson with questions about the legislature's inclusion of policy. Now, guys, notice that they didn't say law. See, they totally understand that the legislature is only making corporate bylaws and policy, not supreme law. So the inclusion of policy is different as dog racing and secure ballot paper in one of the budget bills. See, it got to do with elections, guys. They don't want that. So they want to get rid of it because they all have been working together, all of the bad guys in government, to cheat the election. So when you put a ballot bill in anything, they don't want it there. So they got to fight it hard and swiftly. But when we come and tell them that they're doing wrong, they want to cover it up. And this is why we, the people, have to stop them. Now, if the court believes that the legislature has been breaking the law in all the bills they've been writing, that means they're taking money from the people and they're doing maladministration, not following their oath to support the Constitution and breaking the law. Why is the court not referring prosecution to the county attorneys to prosecute the legislature? If you know they're trampling the state constitution, why are they not being punished? But you can pull somebody over in a car that went 5 over and give them a ticket and you can prosecute them. You could prosecute one of the people with no problem. But when it comes to the legislature just breaking the law all the time, there's no punishment, huh? I already know who Nancy Schaefer is. She's the woman who was killed over telling about CPS. Next paragraph. The state constitution says, we're going to talk about the state constitution now. That's what we use to blow backs out, guys. So now the Supreme Court wants to stand on the state constitution. So what about when the Supreme Court is to be a court of record, but yet they're partnering and letting David Byers, I think his name is, work with CPS and the administrative offices of the court to do indemnity pool funds for CPS workers and stuff like that, and allowing CPS workers to take kids without due process under the common law, and allowing psychiatric workers who work with them to say that people are mentally ill and crazy, lock people up in mental hospitals, force them to get mental evaluations when none of these people are psychologists or psychiatrists that are licensed in CPS or the judges or attorneys. So they just say, yeah, let's just say they're crazy. And then we'll get one of our own psychiatrists to do a test on them. And most likely those people are in a conflict of interest because they work all the time with the government officials making money and holding contracts in a private industry. Now it's going to get deeper. Watch this. The state constitution says each bill must cover but one subject. That is true. With each item properly connected to others. That's true. So why has the legislature been using bills that don't belong to whatever bill they're putting out and purposely writing in extra stuff like the federal Congress does when it's unlawful? Why? See, it almost seems like the Supreme Court believes that everything in the Constitution is mandatory. Okay, so if everything in the Constitution is mandatory, when we deal with what the Supreme Court and CPS and the Highway Safety Act, the DMV, which is a private entity, and they're working against the people, if every single thing in the state constitution is mandatory and the Supreme Court gonna call this out, everybody, we should take their word for it. And now we should start knocking the snot out of every false thing they're doing. They made a mistake. Yeah, like only counting legal votes, Robert. Article 7, Section 7 says only the person with the most legal votes should be counted. The Supreme Court don't want to hear the cases, but people are using things that are not legitimate, so they're not legal votes, so we should not have these votes counted. So it's time, y'all. They're giving us some good stuff. This is amazing. Let's watch. The state constitution says each bill must cover but one subject, with each item properly connected to others. Separately, the titles of each bill must reflect the contents and give lawmakers and the public adequate notice of what's included. So, y'all want to follow everything bit by bit? I'm down. Let's keep looking. The decision will have far-reaching ramifications for the legislature. Republicans here we go again, who control the Senate and House have worked around that requirement for years. No, let's say that the whole legislature has worked around that requirement and has been acting in maladministration. Okay, courts. So since you think they've been working in maladministration, prosecute everybody. Not just the Republicans, because the Democrats do it too. So if everybody is cheating, everybody is not following the law, Supreme Court, any law that has been put in that is not constitutional in any way, you need to fix it. See, it's funny that the courts are to be watching out for stealthy encroachments into the people's rights. They're not doing it. But now when it comes to election stuff and bans and stuff like that, that block some of the people who work in these same programs and making money off of COVID charges on people, the courts are making money, huge amounts of money. Go in Arizona and look up the Court Improvement Project. Whew. Oh, it's about to go down, y'all. So they say the decision will have far-reaching ramifications for the legislature. Republicans who control the Senate and House have worked around the requirements for years, slipping policy items into budget bills. So what's policy items? Is everything policy that they're dealing with? This year, the legislature was particularly aggressive and packed the 11 bills that make up the budget with a hodgepodge of conservative policy items, some of which have failed as standalone bills. The court upheld a September ruling from Maricopa County Superior Court Judge Kathleen Cooper that blocked the school mask ban and a host of other provisions in the state budget package from taking effect. Cooper found the provisions in the 3 budget bills, including the ban on school mask mandates, violate the title rule. So guys, notice that it's not unconstitutional to ban masks. It is not unconstitutional to ban them from doing vaccination forcing and contact tracing forcing and all this bull. It is simply that they did not follow procedure, like I told y'all, maladministration. When the government officials don't follow their trust indenture or the Constitution or the statutes that provide direction for how they're going to do things, which are not able to be done by choice, as I've told y'all, they're all void. So when the Constitution says the people have liberty interests over everything and their children, and that the government can't interfere when they try to make, now I'm gonna show y'all something deeper so y'all can understand this. I told y'all about the case Miranda versus Arizona. Miranda versus Arizona clearly says on page 491, where rights secured in the Constitution are involved, there can be no legislation, this is what's happening now, or rulemaking which would abrogate them. So they can't go against our rights. So when we have a right to dictate how they are going to do their bills and they go against it, their whole act is made null and void. So notice what happens here. If you don't follow procedure, your act is void. The act we're talking about is the legislation they tried to put forward. But what happens when they don't follow procedure in the election protocol? The whole act is void. This is why we can decertify, nullify, alter, abolish, and reform by right all across the nation. Because whenever they don't follow the law we give them, it's game the freak over. Tell me if y'all are seeing this. So watch this. Including the ban on school mask mandates, violated the title rule. So it had nothing to do if the legislature had the right to ban it. It simply has to do if they followed the right procedure. So because the procedure was wrong, it got kicked out. No big deal. This is a good thing. She blocked those provisions while allowing the rest of the bill funding education, universities, and health to take effect. So it's funny. She let some parts pass, but wouldn't let other parts pass. She wanted to keep the funding, right? Because they need that money. But she didn't want to, she didn't want to deal with the other parts. See, this is what's funny, y'all. Watch this. Let's keep going. She entirely struck down another budget bill because it violated the single subject rule. So all this had to do with the legislature didn't follow procedure. Okay, whoop-de-doo. The legislature had packed it with a conservative wish list. See this one-sided thing, guys? See, the deep state and the news media work together with bad government actors, and they hate the fact that we had government officials like, there's a lot of Borelli, Karen Fann. In some ways, there were some others who wanted to stand against all this force on people. But the deep state don't like freedom, guys. So they're going to all work together to talk as bad as they can about the legislature Republican side. So let's see. The legislature had packed it with conservative wish lists. Now, what the freak is a conservative wish list? It's what the people wanted. The people didn't want to be forced with masks, which the Constitution lets us know we can't be forced with masks, but the people didn't know how to fight. So we started doing different things, and we got a lot of victories in independent cases and people putting notices and affidavits out and won. But watch this. Wish list of unrelated policy items, including a ban on local governments imposing COVID-19 restrictions, requiring special security paper to be used on ballots, allowing the Game and Fish Department to register voters, and require investigation of social media companies. See, guys, they didn't want that stuff because Facebook got money that they gave in a certain way through certain shell companies, I believe, to those people who worked in the Board of Supervisors and others. And as a matter of fact, the Board of Supervisors gave back over $1 million to Facebook or to that entity after we put them on notice for taking the money when the Constitution says they can't. But notice, nobody is being prosecuted for this. So we need to make notice to get them prosecuted for all these things. We need to put in a notice to the attorney general and to the sheriff to prosecute the board of supervisors for taking money from that entity, which they gave back, which doesn't get rid of the act that they did, right? Now, I'm going to show y'all how strong the Supreme Court officers will be at times. Watch this, guys. Look at this wording. Look at this wording. Can you tell me, and this is a serious question, how dog and harness racing relates to anti-fraud ballot paper in order for us to find a single subject within SB 1819? Justice Bill Montgomery asked Royston. Now, guys, notice what he did. He said, look, he's standing up for the Constitution this time. Hey, the Constitution says one bill, one issue, one subject. What the heck are y'all doing? Fine, I enjoyed that. So use that for everybody else, like CPS, Child Support Enforcement, Highway Safety Act, where y'all making all this money. Use it for that too. Ask, how are you taking property from people without a trial by jury? Oh, you got some special secret contract with them? Well, let's disclose it for everybody in the whole state to see the secret contract that y'all working by, since the Supreme Court justices are trustees of the people and the legislatures are trustees of the people. How is the Supreme Court and the legislature allowing people to be taken advantage of without full disclosure by these entities that are working outside of the Constitution when they swore to protect the people in the Constitution? Let's go, baby. Let's go, baby. Let's get serious. Watch this. Here's what I would say to that, Royston responded. I would say the court should not start down that path 110 years into statehood. Oh, Chief Justice Robert Brunel, which I like some of the stuff he does, asked why not? And Royston said it's not the place of the judiciary to enforce the single subject rule. Now, that guy is wrong. Royston is 100% wrong. The judiciary should be knocking down everything that's unconstitutional, period. Now, Brunel makes a great statement. He says, so the single subject rule in the Constitution, of course, is just a suggestion, Brunel asked. Yeah, so it's trial by jury, Mr. Brunel, just a suggestion? Is the people have a right to trial by jury? The people have a right to be secure in their private affairs and not be disturbed, Mr. Brunel, Article 2, Section 8. Is that just a suggestion? Hey, Mr. Brunel, when a cop pulls you over and you're in your private capacity, you're not acting as a government worker and you're just traveling down the road to get some milk and they want to give you a ticket, snatch out your car, get you for not having a license or registration, Mr. Brunel, is that also a suggestion? Mr. Brunel, Article 2, Section 32 of Arizona Constitution, doesn't it say that the provisions of this Constitution are mandatory unless otherwise declared to not be so? And that's by the people, Mr. Brunel? I mean, Mr. Brunel, I love you. It's beautiful that you're standing up for the Constitution now, but let's do it all the way around. Mr. Brunel, when it says that a trial by jury is to happen before you can lose life, liberty, or property, and they take child support money from people, they take kids from people, sir, and you say that you swear to uphold the Constitution of the state and go against any enemy, foreign or domestic. That means you're a trustee of the people. How can you be a trustee of the people, sir, and allow the lower courts to be partnered in private partnerships under Title 42 with a group of people who are not doing it under authority of law, taking children from people and taking money from people and putting people in jail for child support orders from a private entity, sir, for cash? For cash. I love what you're saying, Mr. Brunel. It's not just a suggestion, Mr. Brunel. It's a definite mandatory thing in the Constitution. Y'all keep spitting this Constitution stuff, but let's use it all the way around and not just in times where it goes against the election stuff that it seems you guys have an interest in. Oh, let's get deeper. Because see, y'all see how much they love the state constitution now, and it's all about what the state constitution says. Oh, it said this, it said that. Heck yeah, it said a whole lot of stuff that y'all don't ever bring up. And you got people bringing cases to y'all, mandamus and all these different things and quo warranto, and y'all won't even give them a chance to talk. And they're the people in the Constitution. You won't even hear the case talking about, oh, the Constitution says. Oh, okay. So the Constitution lets you know the people have all political power. Why are you banning them from speaking, dear court justices? Now you're right, Mr. Brunel, and I love you. You've done some amazing things. I'm going to say that. There's another one who I really like. He has a wife in the legislature. He was a newer guy not too long ago. Very, very amazing things that this man has come forward with. But it ain't right. And we this is beautiful for us. But because since you say the Constitution is not just a suggestion, we going to hold you to that. So now the people going to come in and we're going to deal with the whole issue. So let's look. Montgomery and other justices also questioned Royston on the mask mandate ban, asking what it had to do with school funding. See, guys, they know that the Arizona Constitution allows the legislature to get rid of any funding that comes from a Fed program. And the people can do it too. The court doesn't want them to do that because they're all making money off of this federal partnerships, CPS, traffic stuff from Highway Safety Act, Child Support Enforcement Program, the whole vaccine mandate, COVID stuff, all of it, they're making money off of all of it. They get what's called administrative cost. Watch this. The Constitution says appropriations are to be contained in legislation known as the feed bill, while directions on how to spend the money is contained in separate bills for items such as K-12 schools and health. So how does the face covering mandate and the vaccination mandate, see y'all, or precluding a mandate, how does the relationship to the appropriations, Montgomery asked? See, what they're trying to do is deal with the legislature not following procedure. It's called maladministration. They're not using the words of what it is, but that's exactly what it is. When you have an administration and you don't follow the law of the administration, it is bad administration, maladministration. Now watch this. Royston said the legislature believed mask mandates would cut attendance, but Montgomery and Chief Justice Brunel were not persuaded and pressed him on how bad mask mandates specifically relate to the spending in the fee bill. Guys, notice the state Supreme Court justices are doing exactly what I do. I get on one thing that goes against the Constitution and I won't get off. That's what they're doing. I ain't trying to hear that. Tell me how it relates. Because you put it in a bill that said one thing. Now, it doesn't, Royston said, because it's the legislature. See, now he's messing up. This is how we break them every time. We hold them to the Constitution, and notice says it doesn't because it's the legislature, ... right? He's confused in his speech and he's out of it now because he got thrown off his square. He warned of chaos if the high courts upheld the trial court ruling. Governor Doug Ducey spokesman C.J. Karamarjan had called the trial court ruling clearly an example of judicial overreach made by a rogue judge. Now, this is Ducey. This is the work of the affidavit mamas in a good way. Ducey and the legislature are trying their hardest to fight on behalf of the people because they realize we call them out. The affidavit mamas call them out in such a powerful way that they are forced to take action. They didn't have enough time yet to take action the way that they needed to. So what happened is that they made the mistake. Yes, a lot of people are in trouble, Veronica. It's about to get good. So the legislature and the governor trying to listen to the people rammed this thing in and they didn't follow the rules, which it is what it is. They're right. It's maladministration. They made a mistake. I bet you the legislature is going to come back and fix it, though. And the people can stand up and tear everybody's back out for real. Now watch this. He also said Arizona should have the ability to make their own health decisions free of government mandates. Now we talking. Karamarjan is now telling the truth. Arizonans, by the law, by the Constitution, has the right to make their own health decisions free of government. But that ain't what was before the court, my friend. That's not what was before the court. As I told y'all before, whatever the dumb arguments are in front of the court are how they make their dumb decisions. But notice that does not stop the news media from twisting it and making it look like the judge struck down mandates that stop the school boards from going against the people. That is not what happened. It's all about maladministration. They did not follow the rules. Let's go deeper. Ducey has appointed 4 of the 7 judges who heard the case, Tuesday's case. Newly appointed Justin Karras King recused herself from Tuesday hearing, and an appeals court judge not appointed by Ducey heard the case. That's good that the lady recused herself. She's showing that she does not have a conflict of interest. Whoever Catherine King is, I love you. You are amazing. Thank you for being a good woman. You are great. In a case that raised the same issues, another judge on Tuesday blocked 3 sections of another budget bill because they violated the single subject rule. So here we go. The courts are tearing apart the legislature for not following the rules. The legislature is wrong because they're not following the rules. And it shows you how late in the game the legislature learned that they needed to protect the people because of the work of the affidavit mamas and stuff that we did. And y'all know when we did it. So they had to stuff stuff in bills, guys, based on what we fought and what we said, what the affidavit mamas did. They had to force it in bills and try to fight because they knew they were in a tough situation. Now, watch this. The city of Phoenix brought the challenge, saying provisions blocking a majority of civilians from serving on civilian police oversight boards violated the title and subject single subject rule. So it went against the constitutional process. The city also challenged a provision in the same bill that allows lawmaker to request the attorney general investigation into any written policy, written rule, or written regulation adopted by any agency, department, or other entity of the county, city, or town. So investigating written rules like CPS, child support enforcement, DMV, all that stuff is very good. The legislature just did it the wrong way. But this is an amazing lesson for everybody. Realize that we can knock down any act that was ever done when it wasn't done by procedure. So let's talk about this election. The election officers did not follow procedure. It is not just a suggestion for them to have statute and constitutional provisions to do things. They did not follow. And since they didn't, the people should be reforming, altering, and abolishing government because none of these people held each other accountable. That's simple. That's simple. Let's keep reading. Hannah wrote that the state constitution's framers, we're talking about the framers of the state constitution. It's like almost like they're listening or something, knew that democratically elected legislatures sometimes do not behave democratically. We don't have any democratically anything. So they included rules on legislative process in the Constitution, knowing the judiciary would be called upon to enforce them. Ain't that funny? So there are things in the Constitution that the courts should be handling. So that means when we have stuff that we as the people are telling the Supreme Court, the legislature, and the executive branch that they should be doing, that sometimes even the judiciary ain't gonna act right. And we should call upon the people to enforce the law and alter and abolish and reform government at will. Oh, okay. So when they don't follow the Constitution and what the framers said, it's 100% unlawful. Okay, Article 7, Section 7 said in Arizona Constitution that that the person with the most legal votes shall be counted, elected in the position. Okay, cool. So if they didn't do a process and the courts wouldn't allow a process in their court system to make sure that every vote was legal, and they want to do this 2 and 3% thing and push the people off before we force this thing through the legislature. Because of that, we should be correcting everybody and fixing the judiciary too, because the judiciary, when it's time for the protection of the people, don't really like to do us right. Let's keep going. Cooper and now the Supreme Court sided with the education groups. No, they didn't side with the education group. They sided with the Constitution. The education group just made an argument, not that the legislature didn't have the power to force them to do stuff, but that the legislature didn't do it right. Big difference. Stop playing, homie. Stop playing. Arizona School Boards Association that had argued the bills were packed with policy items unrelated to the budget. Now, you see why I tell y'all though, guys, only make arguments based on the Constitution. Don't make arguments that you have the right in your federal program to force kids to do stuff. Don't have an argument that it helps people with health. The only thing that the school board did to destroy the legislature of Arizona is just say they didn't follow the rules of the Constitution. Boom, that quick, game over. The Supreme Court has to say, well, you're right, and you lose. But guys, guess who's been letting the legislature cheat all this time? The Bar Association, who tells them what they can do. They had the Bar Association giving them education on the law. Why didn't the Bar Association advise them to 100% not do anything that doesn't fit in bills under the single subject rule? And why are they not going to get in trouble for malpractice as attorneys telling people the wrong things? Kind of deep. Cooper's ruling cleared the way for K-12 public schools to continue requiring students to wear face masks. No, it doesn't, because the Constitution doesn't allow it. At least 29 of the state public school districts issued mask mandates before the laws were set to take effect, and some immediately extended them after Cooper's ruling. Arizona cities and counties were able to enact requirement and other COVID-19 rules that would have been blocked by the budget bills. No, y'all just did it because y'all wanted to do it, but that goes against the Constitution too, but we will deal with it, don't worry. Rupali Desai, the attorney for the School Board Association, urged the courts to affirm Cooper's ruling because the legislature misled the public by not giving the public notice through the bill titles. Okay, awesome. They didn't follow the rules. You look to see whether or not the challenge provision are adequately noticed in the title or whether the title is misleading, Desai said the court. In this case, both are true. In her court filings, Desai and Cooper relied on well-settled precedent and properly ruled that each of the challenged laws was passed in violation of the Constitution. True. Nothing in Tuesday's ruling prevents the legislature from trying to reenact and strengthen the laws in the next legislative session, or all coming together and voting to come into a special session where they can deal with the freaking issues. So guys, you see, there's nothing that stops them from coming back and fixing it. So that means that nothing they said was unconstitutional. It's not that they put in laws to stop these clowns that were unconstitutional. It's the fact that they didn't follow the procedure. Just like the elections all across the country. So they didn't follow procedure, and nobody made this argument, guys. Y'all heard me make it. Nobody made the argument that because they didn't follow legislative procedure and statute and the Constitution in every state, like I told y'all, nobody, hold on. Let me see. We got some people in the chat. Did Josh come on? Nobody. Nope, none of them are Josh. So guys, nobody fought this the right way. So notice I've been telling y'all how to fight this. Jennifer, Drake, Mike, and Warren, I'm gonna make y'all panelists. So if you don't want to just fly on, hide your screen. So guys, I want to let y'all know that all this bull, guys, all this falsehood, all these things that they have been trying to do to trick us, guys, is not right. It's not right. And they have played a lot of games, guys. They have done a lot of things that don't follow the Constitution. And once again, you guys see that how I told you guys to make your arguments to trap these people using the fact that the Constitution is mandatory is 100% legit. Nobody can knock down what I've told you guys because the Supreme Court justices are making the same arguments right in front of your face. But now it's our turn to correct the whole lot, the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has been going against the Constitution by allowing CPS agencies to take kids in private partnership programs for federal funds. They've let them throw people in prison to try to cover up that they're stealing people's kids for profit. They let them use social workers to act like everybody's crazy in every single case that they can when people speak up. Oh, I think you're mentally ill. They got social workers actually making claims of people's mental illness and getting mental checks done to shut people down and throw them into to facilities to keep them from speaking out. Hey, Big Logic, love you, bro. Now, I told y'all that this is what's happening. I told you guys. I told you guys that when you deal with the wrong procedure, you're automatically out of line. Oh, Patrick, it's going to be going down, bro. See, these people have not followed procedure and have not done what the Constitution says. And I told y'all, this is how we can decertify every act. We can nullify every act. So they want to say that Biden was elected. Cool. But the problem is when you didn't follow election procedure, we can erase the act. So the legislature acts, the acts they did under the wrong procedure are like they never existed. Good, we can do that junk too. If the courts can do it, we can do it. We can reform the courts, abolish everything, the whole Constitution, and start over again from scratch. So y'all want to play? Y'all want to act like you're going to stand up for the Constitution now, but these people have been making mandates against people and you've been ignoring it all this time? We're not playing. We're a group of bad mama jammas, y'all. God has blessed us to be able to stand and do some mighty things. That's what I'm talking about, Danielle Farmer. That's amazing stuff. That's killer. I got to tell you guys, we have amazing power. We have amazing duties. I need y'all to share this with everybody. Because guys, now it's our turn. Yeah, Court, thank you so much for saying the Constitution is mandatory. It's not just a suggestion. Thank you so much for shutting down the legislature. See, this is why when the legislature wanted to act like they wasn't going to do an audit, me and Josh like, oh, really? So we're going to use this Constitution. We're going to use that smoke on your hands. And this is why we won in Arizona. This is why they won in Michigan, because we took the strict words of the Constitution and dropped that smoke on the legislature. And they realized, the arguments they're making are really here, and it would be a transgression to ignore these people. So now we got an audit in Michigan and we got an audit in Arizona by the process we use. No attorney in America who said that our process wouldn't work has gotten an audit. No attorney in America who argued that there was evidence of some fraud from China got an audit. Right? All this stuff talking about going to the Supreme Court to show you got some real evidence that's so much better than everybody else's ain't gonna work. Deal with the fact that they did not follow the law, period. And we, the people, can reform, alter, and abolish government completely. See, Veronica's feeling it. I can tell when Veronica starts talking like this, it's about to be hell for a lot of people. It is not going to be pretty for them. The courts love getting you on the technicality when they go against you. If they were for justice, they wouldn't even look for the technicality. That's right. So that's the thing, is that when it comes to dealing with the people and we try to tell them something, they don't want to deal with what's right there in their face. But the attorneys are tricking everybody not to use the Constitution simply. And what we do is just say, I don't give a freak what you say about your statute, your code. The Constitution is the highest. You don't follow it, your ain't is done. Stop playing with us. See, notice the Supreme Court didn't say nothing about, well, the health doctor said that it is 22.3% more likely to get COVID if you don't wear a mask. They didn't talk about stuff that didn't have to do with the law. This is why people lose all across the country every single day. They're always trying to make arguments on their feelings, what some dumb doctor said, some theory, what this other scientist said. None of that stuff has anything to do with the freaking law. Stop making arguments on your emotion, on your feelings. I love my kids. No, use the law and the law only. The law is what they swore to. The law is what they're bound by. So the Supreme Court can say, oh, so the Constitution is just a suggestion, homie? That's a simple question like I asked. I'll ask them. So you telling me it's not mandatory? You didn't swear an oath to it? See how simple that is, guys? You can ask them a question with like one sentence. You ain't got to go into no deep, crazy freaking disrotation over some stupid junk, just say, hey, did you swear to not do that though? Aren't we paying you to do what we wrote in the Constitution? Yeah. You agreed to go? Yeah. Mm-hmm. You said you wouldn't go against it. You said you'll faithfully discharge your duties and impartially. Oh, okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. All right. So why are you not doing it? I hope you guys can see that I have loved you guys. I have shown y'all the truth this whole way. The state Supreme Court is using the Constitution to whoop on the legislative or the attorney who came for the other side and on what the legislature did. So when they bring junk to us, y'all, we need to whoop on what they're doing and stand on our authority. I don't give a freak about the Supreme Court enforcing something when the people have more power than them. We got to stand up. We got to take things to the next level. We are winning, guys. We have victories all over. We've shown that our process worked in Michigan, process worked in Arizona. The legislature or the Supreme Court guys knew not to interfere. When we tell them we want to audit, they know they're not able to touch it. They know it. Perkins Coie attorneys know, what up, Big Shoop? Perkins Coie attorneys know, don't freaking interfere with their audit. Alabama high-level attorneys and Clinton-related people were like in front of Candace Taylor. Uh-oh, those two guys that helped Arizona get their audits, they're over there helping Candace Taylor. That we gonna end up with an audit just like them. Watch. So they know what's coming. They're trying to push it off and trying to hide it. We need some more consistency in Georgia with people talking about this all the time. Notice in Michigan, Matt DePerno and Bill Bailey did a great job of continuously teaching people what their rights are. And over 10,000 people wrote affidavits, which means there's probably 100,000 or more people who know exactly what's going on. Actually, more than that, probably 300,000. Because usually you have 3% of the people who have a goal by statistic who actually take action. So usually when you look at curves, you're going to have 3% extreme outliers taking action. You're going to find everybody else in the middle doing what everybody else does. So if 10,000 people put in affidavits, that means a whole lot of people saw what they were doing, usually, right? And I'm not using this as law because I don't use statistics in law. I don't give a freak about guesstimations. I just use the straight law. Guys, this also shows you when I told everybody about what Kesho and Clements and Frank were doing, and they're running around talking about some, we can guesstimate that this many people voted and all this and all that. You can clearly see that the Supreme Court and attorneys who are trying to destroy what the legislature has done with acts, they do not quote that stuff. They do not talk about guesstimations and numbers and likelihoods and probabilities. What they do is they clearly say the law says, the Constitution says, it is written that you shall not. And that's enough to destroy everything. It's that simple. And we have stood on the law and showed the truth with everybody else. And that's why the nation is taking over again and you guys are winning and having victory. There is no group of law teachers formal that are teaching you guys to be as active as the team that we're working with are. You guys are literally interfering with government process by right, by notice and affidavit and coming like monsters with only constitutional arguments. And y'all can see nobody can fight y'all. The school board already apologized because the federal legislature came after them. This ain't no freaking state situation where no state Supreme Court told the affidavit mamas or myself, you guys can't fight. No, this is them saying the legislature broke the rules. This is not saying they never said that the state schools or political subdivisions have the right to force mandates. It only said, look, the acts just were done wrong. It doesn't count. It's like it never existed. Cool. So the elections, same thing. Nothing. That's right. So much winning happened that why bad actors fighting so hard, parents won't back down, keep learning your rights and fight with notice affidavit. That's right. Y'all blowing their back outs. Nobody want this junk. I bet Cliff is dressed up as a professor for Halloween. He almost dressed up like somebody who knew the law, I guess. Oh yeah, guys, we are winning by God and blowing the back out of corruption, guys. We are winning in such a major and powerful way. It is unbelievable. So don't worry about this bull crap they do. They're clowns, right? And we're gonna go after several things, guys. This before this week is out, I want to do 5 to 7 single subject notices and affidavits, less than a page, addressing the government officials across the nation with simple questions based on the constitutions of every state. And we're going to blow their back out supremely. They're not going to be able to answer us. They're not going to be able to deal with it. And they're going to be caught in wrong, and it's going to collapse everything by God. It's going to collapse everything unjust. Everything that's good is going to stand. Everything corrupt is going to fall. So we're going to have some fun, guys. I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying life. I'm enjoying teaching the people good things. I'm enjoying standing with the people on good things. And I enjoy seeing you guys growing and standing and taking joy in doing those things which are good. Hey, Deborah, how's it going? I'm enjoying seeing you guys do things that are good and proper and pure and holy and praiseworthy and of good report. I'm enjoying seeing you guys stand on your rights and doing the unthinkable. I'm enjoying seeing you guys bring fire and smoke around the nation and having government officials not able to answer your beautiful affidavits. I'm enjoying seeing the nation being educated to the point that at football games all over the place, they're saying, let's go, Brandon. I'm enjoying seeing the people stand without fear, showing courage, going against things that they never have before. It is a new day. And God is blessing us. God is opening the doors for us. God is being good to us. God is making good things happen for us. God is doing amazing things. He's showing us that everything we've been teaching y'all is true. He's showing the Supreme Court side with simple truth and not these dumb attorney arguments. We now see that the attorneys for the legislature have been allowing them to make dumb decisions by not following the letter of the law. Oh, well, the funny thing is we're going after the government altogether for their issues with not doing what's right. Kesha was in the same house with Sidney Powell, Rudy Giuliani when they went to the mattresses during the stop the steal. Probably there's a lot of trust in him. I don't know. I just know what the law says, and I know that the law wins, and I know we've been winning a whole lot. So the Bible says you shall know them by their fruit. I don't care about who goes to big rallies and shows. I don't care about who you see the face of on TV. I don't care if people got channels that they can talk about stuff all day and they promise you that you're going to see this and that. What I care about is what the law says, because that's what wins. And it's crazy. We're on audit number 2, getting ready to be number 3, because another one is coming really soon. I'm telling y'all. We might get a 4 and 5, but definitely we are on number 2 and we got number 3 coming. What I can tell you guys is that we've set some stuff up in some powerful ways in different states, and a lot of people are going to get in trouble. And we have the evidence to get people put in prison, which is going to make people sing, which is going to make other people go to prison, which is going to hype up the people. Because every time y'all see a victory, y'all get more energy. Y'all get more power. You get more strength. You stand on your law much better. And what these people don't understand is every time we see the truth and it is confirmed that we have told the truth, this is why YouTube tries to block the numbers. They don't want people to know how much we're winning. And because they don't know how much because they won't know how much we're winning, it'll slow down their will to attack more. But too many of us know the truth, and we see victory, we see winning, we see things that have never happened before happening. And they don't understand that it's going to multiply our activity. And the more massive action you take, the more victories you have. Notice before we did notices and affidavits, nobody was getting victory. There was not a lot of big victories across the states where people were getting away from mandates, forcing government to stand down, opening up private entities, kids being returned like crazy. None of that stuff was happening. Now is happening, and it's clearly happening that we're getting kids back. People are coming on live and telling y'all, hey, I did what David said. I got my kid back. Didn't know this clown. Dave Jose before I did it, but man, this crazy dude told me to do some crazy stuff that sound nuts. I did it, and now my kids are home. And then you got deep state people say, David helped nobody. There's no proof of evidence or anything while we watch the videos. Right? The deep state can't even lie about what we do no more. It's too out there. It's out in the open. And what the Supreme Court of Arizona just showed is that, oh, everything that is done without following the trust indentures, without following the procedure and stuff that you said you were going to do is null and void. Oh, okay. So thank you so much, Supreme Court of Arizona, because of the legislature, their whole acts or their acts are removed that they did not do properly. They're removed and made null and void. Then awesome. Thank you so much for telling us that everything that y'all do in the whole government that's not following the law is null and void. I told y'all this the other day. People didn't want to listen. Showed y'all this the other day. But now you see it's true. So guys, just let me know. Let me know, y'all. Can y'all clearly see that what I told y'all was true about how the government not following procedure and law, we can go after them using the law only and nothing else? Do y'all see why I said don't make arguments about health? Don't make arguments from any doctor. Don't make arguments about theory. Don't make arguments about you don't feel it's fair. Don't use emotional arguments. None of that. Just stand on your rights. Stand on what the Constitution said, the trust indenture. No other thing you need to use. I seen and watched the proof Dave helped get people their kids back. Truth. Yeah, a lot. We're almost at 100. We're like 94. We're over 90, I should say. I don't like to round up. DC should be null and void. Well, the thing is, if we decide to make it null and void, it's going to be null and void. So we need to start speaking up. We need to start saying what the law is and letting them know we're not having anything else. Did you swear to this right here? The simple plain English. Did you or did you not swear? Is it not mandatory? Shut the freak up. You swore, gave an oath. I don't want to hear nothing else. Stop talking. Right? We need to make it easier. The easier way to do it is standing on the plain law. But this video is yours, guys. I love the heck out of y'all. We got our prayer in already. I have just given you guys simple law and truth. This ain't got nothing to do with the legislature not being able to force the school board. And we're higher than the legislature and higher than the school board. So the school board can't talk a dang thing about what we got to do. Screw them. I'm telling y'all, the truth is the truth. The Constitution is the Constitution, and we got to stand on it. The Fed is out of control. The state is out of control. All these people are acting crazy. There's nothing wrong with having a federal group of servants. The problem is when they think they rule or they going to give money to people to go against us. That's a freaking problem. So guys, if the Lord wills, I shall create several notices by God in order to blow backs out this week. I want to get Heather from Virginia to do job forms for everyone. And I want to go at these people 100 miles per hour with some freaking fire like they've never seen before. And I really don't think they want the smoke. Thank you for all you do, Veronica. I'm one of your fans, cuz. Thank you, Barbara. Much love. So guys, let's kick some butt, y'all. Let's have joy. Let's be excited, guys, because everything we have learned, the Supreme Court just identified. Anything in legislation now that we know from any state that says something about what these people can do that did not get passed correctly is wrong in the first place and null and void. Easy. Anything they gave in legislation that went against the Constitution is null and void. All the CPS garbage, taking kids without juries, not showing that somebody killed somebody or did something bad that's putting them in prison and there's nobody left anywhere in the family to take care of the kids is a bunch of bull. Let's bring that smoke now. Let's be in joy, y'all, and peace, because God has given us victories all over. I think God let Wisconsin be won by the one guy that everybody wanted the other day, even though we saw that at times some numbers were being subtracted from him, but I don't think the algorithm worked well enough. Let's go, Brandon. So that's the thing, guys. We're having fun. So let's get them job forms together. If y'all want to bring that smoke, everybody get with me. Anybody who wants to learn more about affidavits, the only thing that has worked in any state to get audits anywhere. Now we're on number 2 Clements and Salty Lulu and those groups and Frank and all those guys are still at zero, even though they told you we would get laughed out of court and affidavits won't work. It was on the Gail Golick show with Clements. Bill Bailey was on there. He just got done sending Clements the actual document. Clements didn't read it yet, but he was already talking about pouring ice water on the affidavits. And the movement has given $500,000 to Clements, who was pouring ice water on affidavits. And Susan Settembrini said they'll be laughed out of court. And Gail Golick said they had no teeth. But so far, they're the only things that get audits in the whole country. Why is it that everywhere that there's an audit happen or the legislature gets a moving is where affidavit was dropped? You guys tell me, people tried to clown us and they tried to make you guys run away from affidavits. They tried to show, they took a Clinton connected fake news guy's article hating on what I've done in the past with court cases. And in my process of learning how to fight back, see guys, one thing about a real man is not afraid to throw himself out there, because you have to fail forward in order to succeed. I'm gonna give y'all this real quick and then I'm gonna let y'all rock and roll. You have to fail forward to succeed. Sometimes you're going to try to do something. I'm sure a lot of parents fought school boards to try to stop certain things and got up and yelled and cried and got laughed at, got kicked out of meetings. And then they started using affidavits and notices and getting victories. And their life changed, but they had to get in the game first. See, I got in the game and went against courts or private courts, acting as if they were courts, private entities, legislative tribunals. And they attacked me and went hard at me to destroy me, thinking they can break me and shut me up. They tried to put gag orders on me and say, you better not tell what we did to you or what's happening. You better not tell anybody what you're talking about we're doing. And I did it anyway. So they stole my little guys, but I help other people get their little guys back, because when they found out that everybody was starting to learn what they were doing, it was no longer conspiracy theory. It was no longer just some man's theory or guess. They couldn't just say it was one person who was mad over what happened in his case. They realized that after somebody keeps fighting you with simple law and simply teaching people without malice or anger, and even offering mercy to people who would do right, they can no longer say that, oh, he's just somebody who is mad about a case. They realize, no, this is a freaking man who God has made into a threshing tool, a bad mama jamma, who's teaching the law in simplicity and nobody can deny it. And they're getting kids back across the nation. But you got to realize, when you go against the deep state, all these attorneys will tell you that the courts are crooked. They'll tell you they're not following the law. It's a good old boy system. But then people like Clinton attorneys made fake articles to try to act like I didn't know what I was talking about. And then Clements and Gail shared those articles knowing that these people are actually working with real traffickers who got records for trafficking. And they said in post, they were going to hide the truth from the people. They didn't care if I knew that they were lying. They just wanted to influence other people, and that they were going to hide the truth from the public. These people were hired by real traffickers, and it was known. And Clements and Gail shared the jump. So what I'm letting you guys know is we have the victory. You got to fight through the stuff that comes against you before you become a beast. So when I look at the fact that the guy who was married to somebody in the CPS court, the federal judge was married to the CPS court judge in the county. And he was blocking every single case. He had several cases where the same guy was blocking. You're supposed to have randomization of cases distributed to federal judges. How did this one guy get everybody's court case? Multiple people who brought federal cases from CPS in the county. It's not that I did my case wrong. It's not what kind of paper I did the case on. Is that they were not following the Constitution. The United States Constitution shows that the judges in every state, right, and anybody who works for government is supposed to protect the people. So when they steal kids and I prove it and show it, they try to hide it. Now, later on, somebody I know used my affidavit to appeal and show that the judge, who also had the same, was on my case in the Fed, had frauds and swindles, and they granted this person an appeal. And because she got the appeal, it's on record right now, it was on a recording, where the prosecutor says, because this woman put this case in the federal and got us, caught up like this, we did a mental evaluation on her and forced her in jail, in a mental institution to try to interfere. So guys, this is the type of things that they do when they realize you're coming at them, since they had the majority and everybody in their corner thinking they were just doing right and following the law. They'll say, oh, we're going to just get you put in a mental institution because you're not sound in your mind, to try to block you from running your court cases that show that they're cheating, which is fine, because the truth came out after all this. See, if they didn't block me in the federal court with a guy who's married to somebody in the same court that they stole my kids in, which is a conflict of interest, and he should have recused himself like the judge did in the state court case I just showed y'all. He should have recused himself. He didn't. He's taking cases to hide the actions they're doing in a system where the Fed is making money and the state and the political subdivisions are making money off of the stealing of the kids. So that's a blessing that they fought me that way, because it shows the people the fraud, and I don't shut up enough to hide it. I see Clemens and Susan Settembrino sat in courts and watched them commit fraud against the people and prosecuted no judge over it, didn't make federal charges against anybody. But at the same time, I'm not an attorney. I fought against these things, kept going, kept showing the people the truth, even when they told me to shut up. And now we're getting victories all over the nation. The proof is in the pudding. But what's the difference between what I do and what attorneys do? Attorneys get told, shut the freak up, you can't do it, and they get quiet. When they told me to shut the freak up and get quiet, I got louder. And I went through the process of fighting the deep state until I got the victory. And guess what? We have the victory. So now it is proven, guys, that what we do works. We've gotten audits in multiple states. I think we will continue to get even more audits. But it is a blessing from God to suffer, because when I suffered and went through this stuff where the courts tried to block, I realized these people are cheaters. They are not going to follow the law. I need to go above them. So then I went to the legislature. And then after I went to the legislature, I seen that the attorneys in the legislature hid the information from the legislature. So then I went to the people with evidence to show, look, I gave them all this notice and showed them where they're breaking the law, and look at what they continue to do. So how do we beat them? We put everybody on notice at the same time with all the laws they're breaking together, going against the Constitution and their oath, while teaching the people. When I did that, what it did was it changed the whole paradigm. It changed the whole platform, where everybody used to believe the government officials were doing right and they were just doing what they were supposed to do. I was able to show in the nation that they are actually going against the whole law and working together, which now makes the people knowledgeable, and it turns everybody's eyes to the government and shines light, like God tells us to, on their corruption. And they never want to come into the light because their deeds were evil. That's a Bible concept. So now my thing is, I'm going to force you to deal with the law. You're going to have to deal with it. But anyway, guys, this video is yours. I love the heck out of y'all. Y'all stay out of trouble. Y'all be cool. And once again,